All right, well, listen, I just pulled the knobs. I fibbled with the little technical things, and we are good. And it is with great honor that I'm here. You know what? I can't believe I'm actually interviewing these individuals today because it was not that long ago that I was sitting when we decided that, the leadership of ClickBank would be here today to talk to us, to teach us, to show us, to give us an insight into the future. I remember realizing the first paycheck I ever got was from ClickBank. First money I ever made, the first $10,000, the first $30,000, I think even the first $50,000 before I ever took like a PayPal payment was all from ClickBank. So it was because of ClickBank that I sit before you, and it's a great honor that I've been working with them for years now. We've made millions. I have made millions on their platform, multiple millions. I think every single person I know has made millions. And so for us to have this great honor of having their leadership today, their CEO and their COO who's here, everybody right now, let's all type in ClickBank. Type in ClickBank into the comments if you're pumped and excited. Then I'm going to introduce to you two amazing people that are going to walk us through the future of this company, what we can expect, some insights so we can be ready when the time comes to really seize their new vision and what they're doing. So I got lots of ClickBanks coming in. That's awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, listen, I want you guys to give a warm welcome and help me welcome the new CEO of ClickBank, recently on the job, Kevin Strawbridge, and also help me welcome their COO, Mick Wiskerchen. Both of them are here. Gentlemen, are you there?
We are here.
We are here and we're ready.
Let's do it.
Awesome. Well, listen, thank you so much for being here. It is absolutely an honor having you, and I've got lots of great questions, and I know that all of our students are super pumped and excited. Now, if you guys are listening right now, let me tell you guys, well, I'm going to be asking about ClickBank's top affiliates, what they earn. I'm going to be asking them about the top traffic sources that their affiliates typically use. I'm going to ask questions about what's more common, written sales letters, video sales letters. So there's going to be a lot of information and training and useful information in this interview. I want you to take notes and pay very close attention because this is going to be one of the top places you earn an income from. But I want to start by telling Kevin and Mick, I want to tell you guys a really funny story. So when I started with ClickBank, I think the first check I got was for about a couple $1,000s or whatever. It was my first check ever, so that's fine. Now, back then, all the money, I used to go to my parents' house address. I was in college, so I would just send it all to my parents' address. And so I remember, like, I made my first few $1,000s, and it wasn't very long after that. It was like 6 or 8 weeks after that I literally made my first $30,000. So I made a big payday on a big launch that was happening on ClickBank, and the check came in the mail. There was no wiring. I don't even know if I had a bank account, where it was going. And so the check came, and I get this phone call from my dad. It's a weekday. I used to be in college about an hour away, and he's like, "Come home right now." So I'm like, "What happened?" He's like, "Come home right now. I mean it right this minute." So I went home. I was a little bit nervous. I wanted to know what was going on. I get home, and my dad is sitting on the phone, and he's called ClickBank. And he wants to know what it is, who they are, and he was truly convinced that I was dealing drugs. Like, he literally thought, because there was a check for like $31,000 sitting in the mail. And it was hilarious to me to try to explain to him what it was. And finally, someone on the phone calmed him down, explained to him, showed a website that this is what's going on. But I think back to that story, and I just think the sheer volume of opportunity that you've been able to create for people like myself, a college kid with no idea what the heck was going on half the time, to be able to come in and make more money than even the richest in the world, richest in this country make. It's truly amazing. And so, Mick, I was hoping that you could tell us a little bit about just the story of ClickBank, the history of it, where it is, how, this has got to feel good for you guys. I mean, the amount of opportunities you open up every day it's pretty profound.
Yeah, you bet. Let me jump in. What a great intro. First of all, congratulations. That's pretty awesome. Matter of fact, I've been watching the ClickBank ecosystem for the last 10 years before actually joining the company. And Anik, I've heard that story. So that's amazing. Kudos to you. So let me give you a little history about ClickBank and kind of how it got founded, where we're at today. And then ultimately, I'll give you a few statistics of how well we're performing and ultimately can perform well for you too. So first of all, ClickBank was formed in 1998. So we've been around the block for a while. Actually in a garage in San Diego, beautiful San Diego, with Tim and Eileen Barber. And Tim is an PhD, Princeton mathematician, whiz kid. I mean, just a brilliant individual, along with Eileen being a savvy business and business operations person. So it was those two together, from sitting in a circle on the floor in the garage, ultimately manually stuffing paychecks to help pay you and many, many others, to ultimately growing this into one of the top 100 retailers, internet retailers, that's headquartered out of Boise, Idaho now, along with in Broomfield, Colorado. We run all of our products and also our engineering teams there. So it's been a great success. I'll give you a little color around the company today and where we stand. We sell products across the board in relationship. We've done over 3 billion in sales. We do both digital, and I think we'll cover some of this maybe later, but we do both digital and also physical products. We've done ultimately over 60 million customers and are growing every single day, along with 6 million platform users, and we're active in over, geez, I think it's like 190 countries to date. So it's been a fun ride. It's been a great company, and I think that honestly, and Kevin and I have been talking about this already, I think the future is really bright ahead of us, both for us as a company and also for all the entrepreneurs that want to make money online. So buckle up.
Okay, wow. So there's a lot of data that you just threw there, and I got to ask some questions. Wait, first of all, you said physical. What? Tell me more.
Okay, we have one of the areas that we've just been exploding in over the last handful of years is health and fitness. So we do a lot in relationship to supplements, all the way from supplements to also other physical goods. It can be one of the niches that it's funny, but we're having a lot of success, and the people that are doing are having a lot of success in survival products. You have beauty, I could go down the list, but right now, physicals, it's roughly 20–30% of our business and is growing like a weed every day. So, and it's been a fantastic ride for folks that have been living and breathing on the digital side. Now in their upsell flows, they're putting in physical products, and they're having a lot of success with that. Kevin, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I mean, what I'd add is we have more people coming to us every day asking for the ability to sell physical products as well, because as we started out in a digital space, obviously a lot of e-publishing, a lot of training materials, things like that, those people have gotten smarter at what they do. They recognize that e-commerce is the way of the future, and now they're starting to develop the products that augment the things that they've taught for a long time, and they're able to sell those products directly to consumers, continue to extend that footprint with those customers so that they're building a business. They're not just building a one-hit wonder where they make a couple of bucks and move on. They're building something that's going to be sustainable and lasting for them over a long period of time. And I think it's interesting. I mean, and Mick hit on some of the highlights of things that we're selling from a physical perspective, but even when we had our ClickBank Platinum Summit just a couple of weeks ago, and I met a group of guys that are selling paleo beef sticks, and it's things like that. And by the way, they're really good. And so it's cool knowing that we can actually take the digital and the physical and put them together and put them into customers' hands and continuously please them with new products and services as they come out.
Absolutely amazing. Listen, I did a little bit of a pretending there. I happen to have known that you guys are doing physical products, but it's been very quietly. I found out because one of my very good friends is one of your top sellers, and he told me, but most people don't realize this. So if you're watching, guys, ClickBank's doing physical products now. Here's a question also, and you may have gone over this, Mick. I apologize if I'm asking this question again, but affiliates. We teach mostly affiliates. Most people here that are watching and listening they're affiliates, and so one of the questions that comes up a lot is how many different products does ClickBank really have that an affiliate can just go in and start earning from? Do you have an official number that you declare?
Wow, that's a great question. It's in the thousands. I don't know the exact number because it's growing every single day, but I can follow up and get that. But you're talking thousands and thousands of products online that we have.
Got it.
That you can tap into for sure.
Well, I mean, and I've told everybody this that asked me, I'm like, they've got plenty. They've got more than plenty. All right. Well, I'm going to shift a little bit here. Being someone that has used ClickBank for so long, I mean, we're talking, 16 years or whatever. At this point, it was 2003 or 2004 that I got my first paycheck from ClickBank. So it's been quite a few years. And, just just to see, I'm always wondering, okay, what's ClickBank going to do next? Like, how do you grow? You're already one of the top companies in the space. And so it was really exciting when your VP of marketing actually called me recently and told me, hey, we have a new CEO. And I haven't had a chance to meet you yet, Kevin. I'm sure all of us here at Learn Nation would love to hear more about yourself, your background. Congratulations. We're so excited to see what you're going to do with this great company that we've all grown to love so much. So I was hoping you could just kind of introduce to yourself and then, I'd love to hear about your vision for ClickBank.
Sure, I'm happy to do that. And first of all, I'm excited to be here. I appreciate you having us on for this episode, because it's great to be able to share about our business, but also to share a little bit about ourselves, because that's the thing about our community, right? It's about the people, and it's about how people come together, work together, and continuously grow together. And so knowing people on an individual basis is certainly a huge asset as we come together. But I've been in and around e-commerce and digital marketing since 1999. Prior to that, I started off as an accountant. So I learned all the basics and fundamentals around financial analysis, accounting, and working with a large auditor, Deloitte. Ended up in management consulting with PricewaterhouseCoopers, where I learned how to take companies apart and put them back together again, and then ultimately used that as a springboard into getting into what I saw was the coming wave of e-commerce and digital marketing back in 1999. Granted, it had already been around for a couple of years, but I had an opportunity to see some things from the inside out through some work I was doing at PricewaterhouseCoopers that allowed me to really say, I think this is going somewhere for a long time, and I'm going to get on it. And so in 1999, a couple of friends of mine and I actually started a company down in Austin, Texas, called smartprice.com, which was at the time a long distance price comparison service. Back in 99, you cared about how much money you spent on long distance on that phone that you had plugged into a wall. And now we don't care about long distance anymore. But it was a great company to start. We raised Series A funding, and that really was the kickoff to me to say the digital space is huge. The opportunity to grow in the e-commerce space and the ability to use data and analyzing data to build business is amazing. And then that led to me ending up then truly dead in the middle of the e-commerce space when I was recruited into JCPenney.com back in 2001. And then from there, I spent a lot of time working in digital marketing. I worked in offline marketing, so I've had exposure to catalogs, had exposure to television, radio, and then a ton of digital marketing, including starting and running JCPenney's first affiliate program, which we grew into a $77 million line of business within JCPenney.com. We had a huge number of affiliates that worked with us, helping to drive business to us and to grow our business. And JCPenney.com took off like a shot through the early aughts, where the business ultimately ended up at $1.6 billion in revenue. From there, worked with multiple other companies in and around e-commerce, some big names, some companies like Collectibles Today, which sold collectibles in Chicago. We had an affiliate program there that was pretty strong. Then I was recruited into a company called DealTaker.com, which was a leading affiliate website. So I went from being the affiliate manager and running an affiliate program to being an actual affiliate and then working with retailers to push and drive sales to them. We grew DealTaker into the 15th largest deals and coupons website in the United States. This is back in 2008 through 2011, and really had a great opportunity and experience to learn what customers are looking for, how to increase our content and building better copy and diversifying our product offerings so that we could drive customers to websites like Home Depot, Kohl's, JCPenney. But interestingly, at the time, we were also a ClickBank affiliate. So that was my first exposure to ClickBank, was getting the opportunity to be partnered up. At the time, it was with several software companies where we were able to aggregate information that drove customers to get to those companies, and then ultimately those companies sell their products, and then they got those big checks from ClickBank, like you talked about. We appreciated it too as an affiliate, being able to generate that income as well. Subsequently, had several other roles. Most recently, I ran for a year. I spent running global e-commerce for Rackspace. So I got into the business to business side, the technology side of e-commerce. We ran 7 different e-commerce platform installations around the world, and had a great time building up that platform and really transitioning that business from really a click to call to be more of a true online shopping experience where somebody could come and set up a server, check out, and then literally have a website up and running within hours of doing that. And then ultimately, my last role, I was the president for a company called Mag Retail Group, which was in the motorcycle space. So if any of your listeners out there are motorcycle fans, they've probably run across Motorcycle Superstore or J&P Cycles, which were two of the leading aftermarket gear parts and accessory brands in the motorcycle industry. We did about $140 million in revenue last year, generating, we had a house file of about 400,000 customers, but it was a pretty amazing business. We ran 1.2 million SKUs. We did direct delivery fulfillment to our customers of those products, gears, and accessories, which ultimately led to the conversation that got me into this role. Our chairman, Richard Jalichandra, became chairman of the company back in the early part of this year. I was referred to him by several people suggesting that my background and experience would fit well with what ClickBank was setting out to do. So having a heavy-duty e-commerce background, having the ability to understand how fulfillment works from a physical goods perspective, having been the affiliate, having run the affiliate program, and then ultimately understanding all aspects of digital marketing from display through SEO, paid search, social, getting into email marketing and the like. All those things coming together, I actually told somebody a couple of weeks ago, this basically became my dream job because everything that I've done in my career has literally pointed to this role. And now here I am sitting at this desk, working for this company with 120 people that are all excited and geared up for what we're going to do, taking the company to the next level.
Wow, that is amazing. Well, man, listen, thank you, and what an experience. Everyone, let's all type in welcome, Kevin. Come on, let's give him a warm welcome into our world here, into the digital world, but also into the physical world. It's just great to have you guys here. Thank you so much for leading ClickBank and allowing us to be able to do what we do. Now, Mick, you spoke about this earlier. I think it was Kevin, I apologize, but you talked about how you've had major expansion in the health and fitness space. This is a question that comes up. I've been asked many times by members of the Lurn Nation, so I'm actually curious, what are, I should say, the more popular niches on ClickBank that, someone, if they were going into that niche, there just would be a ton of amazing products for them to promote?
You want me to take that one, Kevin?
Yep.
Okay. I think, first of all, I covered there was some key ones that we're seeing a lot of growth in, and then what we call rising stars are others that are kind of tracking really well, that typically it's a hockey stick that goes up. So health and fitness has been one that, for whatever reason, it's been a sweet spot with ClickBank, and also with our vendors and also affiliates driving traffic. Self-help has been another one that's been really, really strong on our leaderboard that we see day in and day out, that continues to win. And then like a third one that I see a lot on is what we're talking about some today, is just the really true e-business and e-marketing, where you're making money online, you're starting your own businesses. Those are some of the ones that are near and dear to our heart. The things, if I was to go kind of down, peel the onion back another level, some of the things that we're seeing a ton of success with is like green products, organic and green products. We're doing a lot of business there, and we see more and more people and entrepreneurs coming out of the woodworks that are having a ton of success there. There's also things with languages, spirituality, new age. I think there'll be a lot more too into health and beauty. And you look at like the baby boomers and things like that. So there's a ton of opportunities on ClickBank. But yeah, we continue to see a lot of growth. Probably in those top three, I was talking health and fitness, self-help, and then also the e-business and e-marketing.
So Mick, let me ask you a question. What about, you kind of alluded to a little bit, the up and coming, right? So I want everyone here at Lurn Nation to be ahead of the curve. And, I know that in history, the e-biz space was very big on ClickBank. And then, your guys' health and fitness has taken over. It's much bigger from what I've heard. Do you see the e-biz space coming back? Do you see any other spaces that are coming back where some of our listeners and some of our Lurn Nation attendees could kind of be ahead of the curve and maybe catch that wave as it comes?
Yeah, so I'll take that one. It's interesting because the e-business and e-marketing are definitely coming back for us. They were areas that I think, you sort of go through these lulls and cycles within business. And there was a lot of hype and pomp and circumstance around these areas for several years. And I think it probably got saturated to a bit, but now we're almost seeing another generation of people coming in that have faster access on the internet. They have more data at their fingertips than they've ever had before. and they have the ability and really the entrepreneurial spirit because of this more disruptive economy that we have, where they're coming in and saying, I want to go do something on my own and be myself and be successful. And all of a sudden, this category is really starting to take off again. And it's really kind of fun to see, because it's almost like what's old is new again. And, you know, you don't ever lose the skills that you have around digital marketing, but you can always continuously refine that. I mean, Facebook wasn't around 10 years ago. Now it's around. And people are able to, there's a lot of people that are spending time, you know, creating content around how to be successful using Facebook from a marketing perspective. You've got, you know, new platforms and new alternatives that are out there for people to market into. And that's what's interesting about us, even with ClickBank. You know, we're in a position now where we've got a lot of customers that are coming back to us that maybe went somewhere else, that the experience wasn't as good, and they're coming back and saying, you guys know how to do this. Keep doing what you do really well, and we're going to come back and work with you some more. That ties back into the continued growth that we're seeing. But then, you know, again, Mick mentioned them, but with the top growing product categories, when you've got green products, you know, getting into the spirituality and new age, and then languages, it's really interesting to see that, again, that shows how people are continuously working to look out for the planet, to look out for themselves, to find ways to improve themselves, and those categories are continuing to grow.
You know, absolutely. And Kevin, you know, it's funny, you mentioned, hey, people who went out and came back. I mean, we're happy to be back, you know, and I think that one of the things that we've loved working with you and ClickBank, I can speak to this, and I feel comfortable speaking about it, is that I would say that the environment has changed a lot. You know, when I'm speaking to Megan or yourselves or anyone at ClickBank now, it's just it's a very friendly environment. It's at Lurn. Our purpose statement at Lurn is to become a transformational home for entrepreneurs. That's, you know, we're very big on that, and we're very big on the word home. And I truly have felt that now when we work with ClickBank, it's a very homely feeling. It's a very personable feeling. And so I feel very safe sending our students to ClickBank and endorsing and saying, listen, just let them do what they're good at, and you do what we teach you, and you do what you're good at. So thank you for sharing that. And I can really echo that I've seen, you know, that definitely is happening. So some inspiration, you know, people realize how big ClickBank is, but sometimes I do get these questions, and our students want to know, like, how much can someone really make from ClickBank? You know, so an affiliate or even a product seller, you know, I want to expand their vision. I kind of know the answer to this, but I'd love for you guys to talk to our students about, look, this is what's possible. You know, what are some of the top ClickBank earners actually taking away at the end of the year, at the end of the month from ClickBank? Are you able to share that with us a little bit?
Yeah, this is Mick. Let me take that one, and I'll even get lower than I'll give you. And I went, and I see these kind of numbers on a daily basis, so I'm pretty familiar with it. We're in some pretty exciting times. So everybody, as I encourage you, as you come on to ClickBank, you're already on, and you're looking at new business. We see, I mean, I personally see across the board, and this is daily. I mean, this is gross, but it can range from 40,000 up to, I've seen up to 220,000 in a day. Now that doesn't happen every day, wow. But there's people that are out there that they're crushing it, you know, and it depends on the different model. We see different launch models, different products, different traffic sources, but it's fun to watch. Like I talked a little bit about the rising stars, and the one thing that well, I think one of our secret sauces for success that I've seen at ClickBank, and you hit on it earlier, Anik, is in relationship to the people. The people here are, first of all, Class A type people, fun people to work with. They get it. They want to see other people succeed. They want to see other people win. They want to see other people making money, and, you know, for their families, for themselves. So we're here to help share best practices, learnings, and share what's working and what's not. So that's something that's really cool that we don't see with our competitors, but we live and breathe it every day, and people take it to heart, and they have a passion for it. So hopefully that helps.
No, that's amazing. So basically, now, okay, the next question I can hear people thinking is, all right, Mick, is that just like 2 or 3 people that earn, you know, multiple tens of thousands a day, or do you got a good number of people? Like, are there lots of people earning thousands a day, or is it just like 5 of them?
No, there's lots of people. Yeah, there's lots of people. There's plenty of room for more. So let's
That's right.
Together.
Absolutely. Listen, if you guys are listening and you want to get some substantiate, I could name off the top of my head at least 10 or 15 people that I know, probably maybe even more, actually 15 easily, that I know for a fact are earning probably $300,000 a year or more from ClickBank. Like literally, I could just rat them out. And they're all, the crazy parts, they're all in different niches, from survival to green. I know multiple people in the health and wellness space. I know like at least 3 or 4 people in the eBiz space. And so they're all out there. Okay, and these aren't like big brands. Like if I was to mention their names, which I won't do, but you wouldn't recognize them. These are people that are just doing their thing, building their businesses. You know, they're not big brands out there, and it's ClickBank's power that allows them to do this, which is just tremendous. It is absolutely tremendous. So
Can I add something? Can I add something to that as well?
Yeah, absolutely, Kevin. Go for it.
Well, it's interesting too, because obviously, you know, there's a lot of people that are earning at this level, but those are people that work hard too, and we need to make sure that we stress that people are putting time and effort into building a business, and that's one of the things that you talk about, creating the foundational support for inspirational entrepreneurs. You know, the entrepreneurs that come in and think, hey, I'm just going to throw up a link and make some money. Those days might have happened 15 years ago. That's not the case anymore. There are people now that they do put in the effort, and they study the nuances of the industry. They understand the markets that they're in. I think it's really in, and they make smart decisions that help them to drive a business, much like any other company would do. And so that's why I think it's really important that your listeners hear that as well, that you put in the effort, and usually you get the result out of that.
Oh, absolutely. I'm glad you shared that. But I'll tell you one thing, Kevin, everybody here at Learn Nation already knows that. That is a de facto. We don't deal with any of everyone here is a hard worker, right? Everyone, come on. Type in yes. If you hear this from me all the time, you got to hustle. You got to work hard. You got to stay committed. You can't just quit the first time. So guys, say yes. And I know for a fact, yes, if I was to name all those 15 people, I can tell you right now, they hustle. All right. They've had hard days. They've had obstacles. So Kevin, thank you so much for sharing that. It is a very, very, very true that it shouldn't just be told, but I think everyone should hear it multiple times because it's important. So I want to talk about some of these top earners. Like Mick, I want to talk about the people that you mentioned, right? The 20,000, the 30,000, the 40,000 in a day, these guys versus also in 3, 4, 5,000 a day. And so also for you, Kevin, I mean, your experience in this industry has been so wide. What do you see? There's got to be a sore thumb that sticks out, like source of traffic. Like what is a source of traffic that you guys just see affiliates are all over and are learning and mastering and pushing for?
This is Mick, but I'll kind of a multiple prong what we're seeing. I think some of the vendors, at least if I put my vendor hat on, the ones that, and to Kevin's point, that have worked hard, especially that come up with their own email lists over time, those are the ones that are having a lot of success out of the gate. So it's those vendors that use their own email list, and they to Kevin's point earlier, that they know the data, and you test, ultimately are having some pretty good size success. And then you flip the coin on from a media buyer perspective, and between banners and native and things like that. That's also a pretty good combination, and you tie in social media end of it, like with Facebook and the traffic that's happening right now. We're seeing a ton of business that's happening in those channels, along with there's a couple that's out there that's just literally crushing stuff right now, and they have their own YouTube channel, and it's they are seeing a ton of success on that end of it too. So I think there's some up and comers that are going to be leveraging tools and like that are going to have a lot more success also.
Ah, interesting. YouTube, huh? So you're starting to see that YouTube is driving now sizable enough traffic that it's making a dent even in your, I mean, you guys know about it. Obviously must be transacting a lot. Now, are they doing YouTube advertising, or is it just they've built these big channels with a lot of following over time?
Go ahead, Kevin.
Yeah, it's definitely people who've built a following over time. There's a little bit of advertising from a YouTube perspective that works, but really it's the people that are understanding their business. They're putting together testimonials or deep content around specific things, and then they're being smart about how they're leveraging that content into getting the clicks out to the partners to be able to make those purchases. And what's interesting is the old adage about YouTube being the second largest search channel out there is true. People, when they're searching, the videos are coming up in the universal search results, and the more videos that show up there, the more the people click those videos and watch those videos. You're seeing that traffic flow through to the partners that are then able to transact those volumes of business we've been talking about.
Amazing. Well, listen, everybody, there you go. It's the typical things you hear from me I'm not, there you go. Proof's in the pudding. Okay. I'm not sitting there telling you all these stories. You know, there's a reason I tell you, build an email list. What did Mick first say? He said, you know, those who have put the work in, put the hard work in, who have built an email list are the ones crushing. I'll tell you a story I know of a very good friend of mine. He's in the health space, does all his work with ClickBank. He doesn't even live in the United States. And he's not just built one list, he's built multiple lists. That's been his key focus. And when he releases a product, he can guarantee to himself that even just with all the email lists that he owns, he will virtually be able to get to the top of ClickBank's listings, the marketplace, which is the next part of what we're going to talk about here. So I just segued myself in beautifully. I have found, you know, Kevin and Mick, I have found that probably one of the most visited parts of your website that I go to when I'm doing webinars, when I'm looking at stuff, when I'm researching, is your affiliate marketplace. And I start to click around, I start to look around, and I'm curious, and I don't know, I really feel like it's probably one of the most visited pages on your website from all people in the industry. And so I wanted to talk about how important, you know, so for everyone watching, if you don't know what the marketplace is, it's essentially a directory. Okay, so it's a directory of all the different offers inside of ClickBank. They're categorized out by main category and then subcategories. But the cool thing is that it's a dynamic directory, meaning you know, products are ranked in the directory by, I guess, how well they're selling, pretty much, right? How well they sell in that category. They get a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ranking. And so people are always interested to see if they have a product on ClickBank, they want to know where they are ranked. And if they don't have a product, if you're an affiliate, well, typically we show and teach people, hey, go for the top ranked ones because they're probably converting well. But I wanted to ask Kevin and Mick, I wanted to ask you guys, you know, inside of looking outwards towards us from inside of ClickBank, how important is that marketplace from your view as you see it being used by the industry?
Oh, I think this is Mick. I think it's really important, and kudos on you for paying attention to that, because you do. Those are rankings, and those are every day. You know, the marketplace, one thing you got to watch is the marketplace moves around, and you don't have control of that. It's going to do what it does. But at the end of the day, the closer you pay attention to what it's doing, and ultimately either feeding traffic there or figuring out from a vendor perspective what's selling the best, those are the trends. And if you're paying attention to those trends, and to Kevin's point earlier, if you're dialed as a business, you're dialed as an individual, you're dialed in relationship with what the marketplace is doing, those are opportunities. And those, like I said, those are opportunities to make money and to do those types of things that are winning. Winning today, you know, that may not be winning tomorrow. Those things, like I said, things change, and you just have to keep your finger on the pulse for it.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so here it goes. Mick, I'm going to ask you, because I don't want to pick on Kevin just yet, because no interview with ClickBank would ever be complete without this. What the heck is gravity, and how is it calculated? Come on, Mick, spill the beans. First time officially, publicly, right now.
Oh boy, they'd have to kill me if I gave that up. But it's kind of our secret sauce formula, but it's a proprietary algorithm that ultimately, and I'll give you a little bit of it, but it calculates affiliate saturation. And this is, I put my Tim Barber PhD Princeton hat on right now, but it looks at different things. I mean, at the end of the day, it's measuring how many affiliates are successfully promoting products from one account, and it looks at ultimately a higher number, meaning the most amount of conversions. There's a lot to it. Unfortunately, it's kind of like McDonald's and their secret sauce of what they put on there. So I can't cough it up.
All right. All right. Well, Mick, maybe one day over some drinks, I'll finally get the answer. I will keep looking. I will keep looking. If I have to find the person who created the algorithm to ask him, I'll find that person too. I see some questions coming in. People are saying, what's gravity? So for those of you, when you go to the affiliate marketplace and you start to look at the different products in the marketplace, you have to go to the affiliate marketplace, not the marketplace, the affiliate marketplace. You'll see numbers, and you'll see a little thing that says GRAV, right? So gravity, and you see a number next to it. And the higher the number, usually the higher the product is on the marketplace. So we know high gravity equals good. I mean, figure that part out. And there's all kinds of theories out there, but yes, you know, thank you, Mick, for sharing that. It's directly related to affiliate saturation.